parent involvement piece. But I know, you know, when talking to me and things like that, there's still some things that she feels that she needs or is unsure about, or, you know.
Well, it's kind of like what you said, you don't know what you don't know. So if you don't know what you don't know, you don't even know what to look for, you don't even know what to look for. And I'm just listening because I got a lot. I don't know if it's for when you get to the partner piece, because I got something I want to share when you get your mentors together. But my mother, both of my parents are college educated, and there's so much I'm learning now that I didn't know when I was getting ready to go to school. And my parents were going through a divorce my senior year. Because my mother is very smart. And I'm like, why didn't she tell me about this? I never went on a college tour. Nobody ever talked to me about HBCUs. And all of that. I kind of heard about it, but nobody really talked about it. So I didn't even know that was a choice. I went to Mizzou because my cousin was at Mizzou. That's the only reason, because as a senior, you get flooded with all those, you know, come to this school, and I just got inundated with it. But I couldn't understand until just now, really talking to Kia and going through this with my daughter. I was like, where was my mother in all of this? And I was like, oh yeah, she was going through a divorce, so her brain was somewhere else, you know. And I was the oldest, so I knew how to do stuff. But that's literally how I picked my school. My cousin was down there, and then I like to talk, so I said, well, I'm gonna be a news reporter. And then I got into journalism. I was like, this is not what I want to do. And then it was like we did advertising. And then I got a degree. My degree is in journalism. Just happens MU was the top J school. And so I was like, oh, I looked into that. God's always been with me. So I looked into that. But then when I got back here, oh, cool. I got an advertising degree. I'm going to go work for Hallmark. Everywhere I went to get a job in advertising, it was go get some experience, go get some experience, go get some experience. So then I ended up down this whole total other avenue. So what in internships, because what I started seeing with our counterparts, our kids go work at McDonald's. Our kids go work, maybe go sell some clothes. We're always in retail. Yeah, that's where we go. And when I was, we took the kids at the Y, we took a tour of Kauffman Stadium one year, and we went up into the tech booth, into the broadcasters booth, and that's just a wow experience, just looking at how all of that is. Kids have internships where they go work at Royals. Now, it's probably 6 out of the whole city, but it's gonna be those connected kids that know people and all of that and everything. But I was like, wow, what an internship. If you were interested in broadcasting, you go hang out in the not the tech booth, but you know, the news booth where those guys are, the media booth. So I would say that, like, just knowing, it's always just knowing the opportunities. The other thing, I don't know where this fits, Keanu, but the other thing that I see young people, because I'm listening to me as friends, parents stress their kids out. Some parents, you got the parents that don't know. I stressed her out. I've tried not to. But parent expectations, you could drive your kid crazy. Yep. Senior year, especially now, I don't know how old you guys are, but senior year now, Mia keeps saying, it's different from when you, senior year is always stressful, but now, their classes, and Nia's in it, that's the other thing. African American kids don't take advantage of the advanced classes. Nia's in Raymore. She's the only one, and we put her on that. She wanted to do the advanced classes because she thought that would better prepare her for college. She don't have the socialization. That's guilt. I feel horrible. I'm like, I hope I didn't damage my child. But she's in these classes, and the black kids don't take those classes. They take it, and the parents feel like, oh, I got my kid going to Raymore, so they're getting a good education. You are getting a good education. My kids in Raytown, they're getting a good education. My kid is in Bluesburg, they're getting a good, yes, but there's so much other stuff that those districts have to offer. And if your kid, the way you find out is if your child is in other activities, and you listen to those white parents talk, and you listen to how those white parents get things done in their schools, and how they interact with the teachers, and how their kids benefit. Because I start going to those meetings, and I can count the 4 black parents. We see the same ones every time at the meeting. And I'm like, where are y'all at? Because all this stuff is going on for your kid, and our parents are not taking advantage of it. So
what I've learned, if you know you need help, it's that old Gary telling me, I would have freed a lot more slaves if they knew they weren't slaves. And with the other community. The stuff.
It's
the stuff
amazing,
will
it's
rock
mind
us.
blowing with all, yeah, that's how.
And doing internship, job shadowing. Luckily, at a young age, I was able to do the candy stripe when that was popular, volunteering at the, because I wanted to be a doctor, so I volunteered at KU, but it goes back to networking. You gotta get connected to people that don't look like you. Unless you have the abundance amount of resources in your community, you gotta get connected to people. And some kids, this is what I'm teaching kids I work with. You gotta walk in the room with confidence. If you walk in just to get in, just blend in, people not gonna notice you. But when you walk in with confidence and exude it, people like, who is this person? They come in like they come in.
Can I piggyback on that? You guys, what I heard a thing when you, what's your name? Me? Yes. Crystal, when you first said, self-identity and you need to know who you are, and then you guys started piggybacking on all of that. I think it's very important to let these young people know to build that confidence.
Yeah.
There's enough out here for everybody.
Yeah.
And if you know who you are, and you were, and I heard, I have one of y'all's names, but when you were talking about your, what country are you from?
I'm Liberian Sudanese.
Liberian Sudanese. That's another thing on me. Anyway, I have my friend from Zambia, and it's just okay, cool. But knowing who you are, and when you know who you are, and somebody on this side said something about your gifts and doing your gifts, if you figure out who you are and you're working within that stream, even if your path is taking you different ways, that's okay. Right. If you teach that child, that young person, to be confident with who they're, and the way you teach confidence is you have that cheerleader, you build them up, you let them know you're doing okay. And the parents, I was trying to get at stressing your kids out. Nia has a friend who everybody in her family is in the medical field. And this little girl don't want to be in the medical field, but she feels like she has to do that because that's what her mother's saying do. So I don't know if her opportunities are becoming limited because I can only do this because my mother killed me about it. And I think we need to build them up like it's cool to do what mom wants you to do, but here's some other stuff that you can look at. And at the same time, because of how you guys are rising up, and you are rising up and lifting up as you go. And I think that's a mentality that we have to, as you get into the mentors, they need to do that and put that in our kids. Because when you do that and you feel good about who you are, and you know God gave you this gift and you can do that, you can go sit in a room with whoever. It doesn't matter who they are, because you're not here about your skin color or everything. You're here about this opportunity. And if somebody comes at you and says something, I'm just whatever, throw shade and all that stuff, or saying stuff that, saying stuff trying to undermine you or whatever, that does not faze you because you know who you are. And that's why, like, in the classroom, I'm like, my God, if you, to the little black kids, I'm like, if you knew who you were, you would not say the things you say, you would not act the way you act.
Speaking on that, how do you help kids know their gifts, responsibility? For me, it took a lot of prayer and a lot of meditation with God. And that's how I did it, but I'm really trying to figure out how can I help.
You see, for me, coming from a third world country and being African, I used to get bullied by the Black Americans here. African bully scratch this, African fighting this, that. So when I got into my freshman year, I just realized, like, I'm always gonna be African. I'm gonna die African. So I'm not gonna wake up one day and be white. I'm not gonna wake up one day and be lighter than who I am. So I had to look in the mirror and tell myself, are you gonna keep letting these people take you down? Because it took me down. Because I knew I go to school, I bet you I'm gonna get in a fight by 6th period. I knew it was coming, so I just stopped it. I said I was done. I'm like, they talked up to me, I started laughing at them. I stopped feeding into their negativity. I shamed them by ignoring them. I walked away. I wasn't soft. I knew I had hands. I knew I could beat her, but what am I gonna get out of it? No, 10-day suspension, missing work, all that stuff. I was done with my mom and dad coming up there telling me, please stop fighting. So I had to literally, it takes you to say when it's enough for you. When do you want to be you? When do you want to wear, like,
but
wake up
what
in
you're
the morning?
saying, if you're dealing with a young person that doesn't have that wherewithal within them, it's the cheerleader that does that. So when the mentors come into play and you got that person that's with you every step of the way, you're hearing what that young person is saying, and you praise the little things.
Yes.
And praise the little
Yes.
things.
Yeah.
And as you keep praising the little things, there's no program. It's just a relationship. So as you do a little thing, girl, I thought you said you couldn't make good decisions. Look what you did.
Yeah.
And so you keep doing that. And then quick example. This little boy yesterday, he needed to divide. It was a smart girl and a childish boy, 2 black kids. Okay, the smart girl knew we needed to divide these two numbers, 189 divided by 9. She knew how to do it, she did it. The little boy had the same idea as the little girl, but his self-esteem was down here. He acts out in class, and I'm learning, he don't know how to do it. It's like you can literally see the gaps in his learning, so he knew I needed to divide, but when he needed to divide 189 divided by 9, he set it up like a multiplication problem. It was 189 and 9 is down here. Instead of a times sign, he put the division sign. I'm like, what the heck is this? What the hell? But what that told me was he didn't know how to do long division. So what I'm saying is, praising the big things. I said, but you had the same idea as she did. So you knew that you were supposed to divide. Boy, you smart at math. You can do this. You just need to learn how to do long division. We can fix that. So when you start doing that, the mentor piece starts doing that. Now you can have your workshops on interviewing skills, how to shake hands and look people in the eye and all that, but you do need to talk about, and we need to talk about, what's it feel like walking in a room with all white people? Your suburban kids can tell you. Your suburban kids know what that feels like.
You know, I was on my way over here. I was thinking about code switching. Because my daughter is 10 and goes to Crossroads, which is right up the street. And we were at Five Below getting a gift for her friend. And she saw one of her friend's moms, well, they're white. And my daughter immediately, like, code switched. I mean, tone of voice changed, the way she greeted her changed. Like, if she would have seen you, she was like, hey. She was like, hi, how are you? How is Harper? Like, and she's 10, and she knows how to code switch. And I didn't know whether to be like, happy or sad about it.
And she's operating in the real world, because I told my white counterparts, I'm teaching our kids to code switch because they got to exist in
They
the
have
world.
to.
And,
It's sad, but it's a reality.
And as far as the exercise, exercise do is to give you 5 actions to describe yourself. Because you gotta know who you are. And give you 5, and so they from around, they used to me now. So they give 5 actions. I said, okay, now give me an example of you doing these things. And I'm like, don't give me generalization, like I'm a good person because I'm good. No, that doesn't give me an example. Anybody can do this, because it's also prepared when they go on the job review. But you have to know who you are to be confident in who you are. And you do have to go switch, because, and this is the other example, I said those kids, over 50% of rockers are on scholarship. So you would never know that. I said, but what the difference is, they have confidence to fake it. And y'all up here worried about how you fit in, this, that, and the other. You gotta know. And then what you're talking about in the class, one of my kids upset me. And I said, well, check out how learning when people talking about your kid and making fun of him. Because he was in class and one of the kids told him, you benefit from black privilege. And he said, like, well, what did you do? And he's like, ha ha ha. I was like, what? And so one of the other was, because y'all just don't understand. I'm like, you have to understand when people who you call friends know you're not there on their level, they will make fun of you in your face and you don't even know it.
I talked to my brother about that. Lisa and West, same thing.
So do you think she's learning that at school?
So, Crossroads is very diverse.
Okay.
But unfortunately, she does not hang around a lot of the black females in her classroom. A lot of the girls that she hangs out with are like mixed race or white or Mexican or Asian. And so my friend is actually the counselor there, and I asked her about it. Like, Kena does not have any black girlfriends at school. She has them outside of school, like in Girl Scouts and activities and things like that. And she told me that she believed the reason why is just because of their home life, and a lot of they're a lot older. Even though they're the same age, they're talking about boys. A lot of them have to watch their siblings. They're put in more adult situations. That's how I was at that age. So when she told me that, I immediately understood. I didn't operate at my 10-year-old still talking about unicorns and slime and fairy dust. So that's not of interest to them, so they don't associate with her.
What you said, going back to the original thing, was missing. And you just said you have your job in Girl Scouts. a lot of our kids are missing out on different opportunities because they don't want to be part of Boy Scouts. I'm like, do you know how much scholarship money you can get from Boy Scouts? Then job shadowing, doing, because colleges are not just looking at GPA, they're looking at your extracurricular because they see, I hate to say it, because people snap. They're looking to see how well-rounded you are, so you can be able to have soft skills, leadership, life skills, and different things. And so that's some things that our community is lacking, is being exposed to different opportunities, like not just Boys and Girl Scouts, but like something like Juan does, and Youth Achieve, Young Achievers, and with the Big Brother, and they have different things, Kaufman, those different things that a lot of kids are missing out on, and that looks good on their resume. Community service, that's what I was trying to get to. Community service is a huge part, because now high schools are requiring them to have so many hours, and they get to the senior year, like, well, what do? I don't know who I'm connected to. And if you start that early, you start building those relationships, that's where you get exposed to the kids that I'm dealing with, the people that they're exposed to, are people down here at, what's that? Pinelli. They got people. The one person on our board is the general manager of Sporting KC. So they have opportunities presented to them. And I'm like, y'all, well, obsessed with me. Now we start getting this entitlement feeling. And so that's not just them, this is the younger generation. And then we're talking about Nikes. I have one parent will buy about, for the whole year, has two sons, about 10 pairs of Nikes for their kids. And one of them's in college struggling to pay a bill. And I'm like, and when we was going fast, so she felt intimidated, and like we were sitting there, and white executive, he said, "I'm too tired of doing this." And I'm like,
And that's the thing that I think we really gotta understand too, is that parent piece, because like you said, with the parent that is telling their kid and they're like, this is what you're gonna do. So you gotta be prepared for that as well, because if you got this cheerleader parent with this kid saying you can do this and you can do that, but then they gotta go back home to that parent, you gotta understand how much work you're gonna have to redo once you get them again because of that. But that relationship piece, that one-on-one, like you said, the workshops and stuff is great to funnel out a lot of information at once. But that connection and really that growth of that person and that confidence and stuff, that relationship piece is going to be huge, because I remember when I was in middle school and high school, we went to different workshops and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, whatever. You're not really paying attention. I did my best when I developed relationships with people. And so that piece is going to really help.
I think you can always learn to network. And when you are meeting people and they take time to meet with you, send them a little thank you note. That is an old habit that, with all the technology and everything is electronic, people get away from that. But it is so meaningful. There was somebody on one of the talk shows, this lady said, I only hire people that send me thank you notes after we have an interview. Because that took some effort, that took some thought, that showed appreciation, and you jot a little thank you note and send it off. That set that person apart from all of the rest.
I want to jump back in on the parent piece, because I think we keep jumping in there and then leaving it. It's really important to, like, I like to put in the jumping into like the extracurricular activities and all that stuff. How are they getting there? Do you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we jump on our parents for not bringing them, or not being able to get them there, or not being able to do that stuff. But you have to understand, like, when people have life happening, if I gotta pay bills, I can't take you somewhere to do an extracurricular activity. And I understand sometimes we offer transportation, but sometimes we don't, and it's really hard as a parent to be, I gotta make sure you eat, as opposed to make sure I drop you off somewhere so that you can network, or so that you can know people. So go ahead.
One thing I try to do, now we're in the legacy hat, is when we offer a program, but we do it throughout the different cities so we can touch as many people, but we try to make sure it's on the bus route. So that's it. That is parents like, I work, I can't make it, I can't do this. And so we try to make it so it's convenient for for them to be able to come, because that is a very important matter.
Transportation is huge. Like, even if it's on the bus route, who's paying for them to get on the bus? Like, I mean, there's so much that goes into, like, being able to make it to our programs. Like, cause I know with even the workshops that we do for CASA, I'm paying the lady a lot to get 12 kids just in the building. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's constant, and it's like, it's really hard to get them there. We can have all the amazing programs in the world and all this amazing stuff going on, but if we can't get them there, they're not going to.
You need to keep in mind too, who's the target group, because when you start the little kids, you gotta get, but if the target group is 18 and up, then you got a different set of extracurricular activities. So, and if transportation becomes an issue, maybe, I don't put too much on the mentor, but if I say I'm gonna mentor these 5 people, and we're doing things, that might be a responsibility of the mentor. Not that you have, well, if you need to, transportation, then you would do that. So, that would.
Because I don't have children, so if I was a mentor, I would be happy to get my mentees to a workshop. I mean, because that's what I signed up for.
Right.
You know, mentoring is going to be beyond conversation.
It is. It's super important.
And that being said, even though you want to reach a lot of people, we might need to really think about what we want our mentors to do, so that you don't need more than so many. So maybe you only need 3, because to really build a meaningful relationship, can you do it with 5 people? But mentors got life happening too. You know, and so so if you're gonna do that and really be effective.
And it's detrimental, like that relationship building thing. If I say as a mentor, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna pick you up, and then I fail to do that, like that ruins
a story. This is in my family. I just spoke with my niece. She was dealing with something, niece out of town, dealing with something that was that went on, and another family member talked to her and said, "I'm gonna call you and check on you," and never did. And the thing of it is it wasn't. Well, what happened was it was just a regular conversation, and the other family member said, because we don't live in the same cities, and so they were like, "Well, I'll keep up with you." And then a big life thing did happen, and I was talking to that niece, and the niece said, this other family member said, because I said, "I'm gonna call you," and that's when they shared. The other family member said they were going to too, and I ain't trying to hurt your feelings. I told my mama, "I'll hold my breath, I'll see about me." And so, because I told my sister, I said, "I'm gonna call," and it was getting late. I was like, "Dang, I didn't call," because stuff happened. And I'm so glad I called, because when I called, she told me that they said they were gonna call and they didn't. So I'm so happy it made all the difference. So if you think it's a small thing, you never know what they're counting on.
And when you have to have that hard conversation with whomever you're gonna have with mentors, because I've told people who come, I said, these kids are used to keep coming in and out their lives. If you can't commit, just donate a meal and keep it going. Because there was an organization in Chicago, it got to the point the kids were taking bets of how long Black mentors would stick around. And so, and that's before I sign up for anything, I have to make sure I have the time, because my word, I want to mean something. If I can't do it, I say, "Hey, I can't do it," but I'm gonna follow up with it. But I'm not gonna just be hanging.
Yeah, and I think stressing that to people, because even when, you know, at CASA, when people volunteer, you really have to stress really early on what this commitment means and how huge it is, because there's times where I have to take volunteers off of things and say, "This is too much," but this just, you can volunteer at an event. We can use you for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, have that different people, because some people want to help so much. Because I know I'm guilty of this. I'm like, I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I want to do this. Well, I can't do all of that and the things I have to do in my personal life. So what can I can show up to an event. You need me to move some water? You need me to do this? You need me to help set up? You need me to donate some money? Like, give people options to say, I know you want to help our cause, and that's great. These are the things that we need from volunteers. This one is a huge commitment, a time commitment. This one, we really need people that's going to get in this word, stay in it, be committed to it, and follow through. If that's too much, you can volunteer at a workshop.
Mhm.
You can help with, help put the package together. You can help with just giving people other options because I do think millennials at our generation, I feel like I have seen a lot of black people that do really want to give back. Like they've seen that gap in their communities from people who kind of like left and went out to the suburbs, and we recognize that, and so we want to give back. But sometimes bite off more than we can chew.
Yeah. And I don't know if are we jumping ahead on it? Because I know, but on that mentor piece, like that's super important. Like making sure that you can do the time commitment, making sure that too. Because a lot of our kids expect that from us. Like when we come to kids, usually they've been touched, probably not touched, but somebody has had contact with them. 10 or more people that have came in and dipped out, came in, dipped out. So they already are untrusting. So even being honest with mentors up front, like you're going to, like they probably won't latch onto you immediately. They probably gonna fight you immediately, like to the point that like they're gonna smart off or they're gonna fill you out or try to see if you really gonna stick around and do all that. Like they're going to do that from jump. So you have to come in willing to say, okay, what is my focus? Am I really on this kid's team? And if they're like arguing with me and yelling at me, am I gonna quit immediately just because I got some kickback? You know what I mean? So we have to come in knowing it's not gonna be easy to mentor somebody, and you have to build that relationship. She mentioned the relationship piece, like that building rapport. You asked like, how do we build confidence and how do you get to know yourself? It starts in that like building rapport piece. Like she said, being that little cheerleader on the side of them saying like, way to go, good job. But then it's also us being honest enough with them when they are not performing correctly.
Yeah.
Somebody has to be on your side as well to say, that wasn't a good look. Like that did what tell me, bring me back through why you did this.
And if you
like,
have that relationship, they feel like they've let you down, and it hurts them.
It hurts them more.
It's like, wow, this is the person who's really been on my side, and I let them down, and they feel hurt.
That's so true. Yeah. That's how it is when I go into school. A lot of people ask me why do I go to East and Northeast and stuff. I love them kids. They're not bad kids. They do give kickback. They do give. I'm like, let's talk. How you do that? And they're like, oh, Miss Weston, blah blah blah. So after a while, when I go back and they're like, hey, man, you gotta chill, Miss Weston. She's nice,
Exactly.
So now, that's how they are to me. That's how they treat me. They got that respect because I wasn't me. I come in like, everybody be quiet. I approach them, build that relationship. You know, when I come, I talk to them one-on-one.
And
I don't know what.
I come every coming back.
They're like, are you coming? They happy to see that I'm gonna come, that I'm really gonna be there and all that stuff. I'm sad that school's out there. But yeah, that's just kind of.
Now this is the ugly truth you don't have to face. Because just looking around this table, and it's your husband, but getting mentored. This is something that pisses me off with fraternities.
Oh, don't get me started.
And I'm in a frat. But these black men do not stand by. And I've had to argue with people. Because I'm like, well, I'm taking care of my kids. I'm like, I know you take care of your kids, great. But don't you have enough love to share outside your house? Because you guys, I'm like, and then the single guys, I'm like, so I would say, I'm like, you really trying to find somebody, you can go volunteer and you find somebody. That's true. I'm just thinking, I'm like, come on now, you at least know she's about something. But I'm just different things because
that's true. And I think that was a missing piece for me a lot too. To just you didn't see too many mentors that look like me and I could look up to, other than basketball. So if you were black coming up, you would either be an entertainer or an athlete. So it's like you saw them all doing that, and then all the black. But when they did give you that acknowledgement and stuff, it was for sports. Like if I did in sports, oh yeah, boy, you hooping, do this. Right. You gotta go to school, you gonna make an NBA, oh yeah, you doing your thing. I'm like, okay, so that's all I was focused on. I was like, okay, let me go ahead and move. I guess I'm gonna make it. And then what really shifted me, because I started off Kansas City, Westport and stuff, then my mom moved me to Liberty. So I went to Liberty School District, and they actually focused in on the academics part of it. You had to have a certain grade point average to play sports.
Right.
And it's a 2.0 at like Kansas City, Missouri. It was like 3.0 in Liberty, so you actually had to do good, so they cared about them academics. and they still, push you to do good in sports, but academics was first. And I think that's the main thing with our black culture. We just, like, we're sitting around watching sports all the time. We're talking about sports and we have conversations. Me and my friends, we're sitting down and we're talking about sports a lot. And I'm like, okay, is this really beneficial to us? What are we doing to help people out? Like, let's go talk to some of these kids that want to do sports and tell them what other options. You can be a broadcaster. You can be a journalist. You can be a team manager.
Right.
You can be so many different things other than just an athlete. And you have to have a plan B, but.
Because that's such a small window.
It is.
Can I piggyback on what you just said about us offering options, about like you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. It's also important for us to understand all kids don't take the same path. So if I want to do technical school, because a lot of times I hear it when a kid says, "Oh, I want to go to school for cosmetology." We kind of go, "Oh."
Yeah,
and it's like, that's just as good of a plan as another plan.
Why you playing? Plumbers, techs, make more money than someone who goes to law school who got that
I
deal.
made more money doing hair than I ever made working for anybody. Ever.
Can I piggyback on that?
Yes.
Me too.
And Chris, you woke something up. My husband is in the trades, and he says that all the time. And when I talk about lifting people up and being a cheerleader along the way, just little phrases. The one phrase I want to throw out, and y'all take it, is just the gift of hands. My beautician has the gift of hands. My hair was a hot. She brought it back to life. But that's entrepreneurial. If you are a beautician, you don't just do hair. You can manage, you are running a business, and there's a lot of aspects into running a business, and your business can turn into a salon. I'm like, is there an African-American salon? I watch the people in California put cucumbers on their eyes and go get massages and all that, and I know you can go down to Crown Center and get that. But does anybody look like me have one of those? And so it seems like it's so hard. So that is true, and you make a lot of money in the trades. And what my husband is always saying, we had this incident now, we were supposed to get some work done on our shower, and we really think it was racial. The people came out, we have a nice house, God bless us. So, but we really think they came out and then they just didn't want to do the work, because then we just kept getting a run around. So finally we just asked for a refund, because you could tell certain people, they come in, it's like, oh, you're not supposed to have this.
Oh,
How did y'all get this? So we totally felt that vibe with them, so we didn't deal with them. But those people, and so what we were noticing, what he's always noticed, is that our young boys and girls, they don't go into that. And he works at UMKC, and when they recruit, they're not coming in. And those guys can make a lot of money in the trades, and you shouldn't look down on
a lot of it is our responses and how we are responding to them when they say, I want to go into welding or I want to do hair. A lot of times like, no, you need to go to college. You need to
everybody's
college is not for everybody. Because I know straight out of high school, I went to college, but I did cosmetology school. And then I was able to use the hair money to pay for more college. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's path looks different. Or like, I know a lot of times people were like, look down on me like, okay, you're not immediately going off to a 4-year or whatever. And I felt some type of way when I was like, okay, I'm still in school, and so it's like, can we stop putting that dialogue out there?
Can we stop
this is better than this?
Because what's getting ready to happen right now, and I'm gonna say this too, and I hope it's okay not to offend anybody, but anything that's gonna be successful, in my opinion, God has to be in the center of it. And I believe that what you guys are doing, what we are doing with Inspire, you are creating change agents. And if you're gonna create change agents in this world is mean, nasty, and horrible right now. There's a lot of that out there, but it's a person in charge that's promoting that. So the negative and the ugly is rising up, and sometimes if you're already dealing with a lot of issues and everything, you don't see the sparks of good that's out there. So if you're gonna have an organization like this, we have to be the ones that's always showing that young person, here's a little piece of good out of all this mess you just shared with me, but here's a little piece of good, and you teach humility too. So as they will be successful. For me, I can already tell if they sit down with anybody at this table, they are going to be successful. So as they rise up in their success and you're building that confidence, that's the change for the good. Quit being a crab. We talked about this, the crabs in the bucket. You don't have to worry that you got the internship and I didn't. I'm gonna praise you and say congratulations, girl, because there must be another one coming for me. But I did, you know, there's enough out here for everybody. But if we don't get that back, and I personally, I'm not African, but my auntie said we're from Nigeria. But I honestly, what I've been taught of Africa has always been of love, community, and a strong connection with the Creator. So that's my concept of Africa. When I'm standing on the shoulders of my ancestors and all that, that's what I think. And I think that needs to be back instilled with us, because we all about what you said, where's the most money? I'm gonna go do that. We're all about the money, but if you do get back to the core of what you all first said, knowing who you are and working within your gifts, the money will come. Lots of money. It will come. It will come. But we have to let our kids know that, because I don't think a lot of people are talking to them like that.
There's no way to really know yourself. Like, I think about it now, like, we don't really know who we are. We don't know the history of ourselves. We don't know where we came from. A lot of cases, you know, you guys have a blessing. You have a big village and a family, and your mom and dad can tell you exactly where you came from. But think about African Americans. We're just seen as, okay, we were brought over here, and everybody thinks, you know, we're slaves. You know, we all have that slave mentality, so I think that holds us down a lot too, because we're thinking, in the back of our head, we're like, well, see, like, we're doing that, so I can't do that.
Right.
I think of that myself.
Raising my voice. Sometimes I talk a little higher pitch, because kids get intimidated. So I know I got to sit down, be on their level, and look them in the eye and talk to them. And you just have to make people feel comfortable, especially white people. Coming in the room being a big black guy, immediately they're intimidated.
Intimidated.
And if I was talk a little different, more what they call ethnic, then they're gonna really be intimidated. So I have to get them to a comfort level. And then once I get them to a comfort level, and I'm not saying that's right, but it's reality.
It is reality, but that's what I'm asking.
But it's something you do.
It's hard to balance it.
You do Northeast, Westport, they
But
go.
you guys, maybe it's just like you said, don't look down on the cosmetologist. It's like when you code switch, as long as you're not changing who you are, I think it's words. I'm gonna be one way when you're my girlfriend, but if you're my supervisor, I'm gonna stick with it. It happened yesterday. I was talking to my principal. We were talking about hair, and I accidentally, she's black. I accidentally said girl, and I said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say girl. You know, because that's the other thing that's missing. We need to show each other respect.
Yes.
And black people, I feel like when we go to the stores, because we are the same color, we can get lax. And I'm like, no, you still need to be professional. So you got professional speak, and you got your casual friend speak. You got school speak. There's a way you talk to your teacher. There's a way you talk to your mother. And that's not you so much changing who you are or anything. It's just it's the situation.
And sometimes people are just unaware, because I subbed in a school in the North Kent City District, and I was in the SPED class. And they teach life skills there for those students, because they don't have an intellectual capacity beyond age 8. And we went to the Hy-Vee, that was our field trip, and the teacher, she's Caucasian, she was like, could you help me out? Can you tell me what shampoo to use for black hair? And I was like, well, for urban hair, you want to use shampoo that doesn't, have alcohol, whatever. But I didn't feel like she meant no harm, but that's kind of pushing it to kind of not know better. And I just made a status.
know better though.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't, like I said, I don't think she meant,
They don't have to know.
because I know when I responded that, she probably was like, ew. But I didn't say it in a way like, what you mean black? Because I could have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, that's why I was just making a status on Facebook. Like, honestly, this is my personal opinion. We need to drop the black and white terms altogether, because they have negative connotations. Like, first of all, they're just colors, and that's it. And I'm just like, when she said it to me, it kind of made the hairs on my neck stand, because I didn't expect to hear that. She could have just said for this student or anything. I feel like it's a substitute, but she wouldn't have been able to say that to anybody, right? That could have caused a severe issue. And if I didn't have the temperaments I have, being educated and being a professional, I could have lost it. So.
But I think it's a balance, Crystal, to kind of answer your question, because that's what I was saying. Like, just thinking to myself, I'm like, should I be happy that she's grasped the skill so early? Or am I like, and part of me was sad that it's even still, you have to do it, that's still an issue, but unfortunately it's our reality. So I'm glad that she's understood that so early on. But again, it's those relationships, because one of my really close friends is a counselor at her school. When we are at the school, we interact a completely different way than when we at the house. And, so we're there, and I'm like, yes, Mrs. High, and and talking, and we're getting her like, girl, these people, I don't want her, but they would never see that. So I mean, it's even that, even though we are still black and we are friends, we still interact a different way, and so I think it's exposing kids to different experiences and having them get comfortable and letting them know ahead of time it is going to be uncomfortable and it is going to be something that you have to learn and grow, especially when you've only been around one race, whether it be white or black. I had the experience in elementary to go to a diverse school, so I was familiar with that even as I grew up, so it was easy for me to switch and go into different. And my daughter is in a diverse school, so that's easy for her. But I see the difference even in kids that go to all black schools and all white schools. I see how uncomfortable they get when they get around mixed race, or the opposite of what they're normally around. So teaching them how to navigate in different situations, not even just with race, but with socioeconomic status and everything else.
But how do we, so workshop wise, how do we present that? Do you know what I mean? Because we want to teach it, Because that's the big one for me now, like just even jumping into my role at CASA is not so much black, white, I can do this, but it's when we go money.
Look,
Then it's like, oh, okay,
You-
like,
you have to look up diversity, fluidity, being diverse fluid, because there's matter of fact, there's one person has the exact same name as me in St. Louis SLU, Jonathan Smith. But that's something because we've had to talk about diversity, because it's not just black and white, it's gender, it's disability, and you have to look at different things, and you have to understand when you come from a point of privilege, and that not just mean white privilege, because if you're an able-bodied, you don't look at what's going on with a disability goes through. So you just have to, when you touch upon that, it's touch upon all, because religion is sometimes a disability. I'm not disability, but sometimes it comes from a privilege. So it's and that's the buzzword now is being diverse and being fluidly diverse, and that's something.
So I think it's like, to take it back to like a workshop for kids, in my mind I immediately think of like work in any room. Like, how do you work any room that you're thrown into? How do you function in that? How can you be you and still be able to navigate whatever setting that you're in? And presenting it that way, because it is going to be several different things. I think a lot of times we just focus on the race piece of it, but there's so much more that goes into that.
Well, and I think maybe when we have the meeting just on developing the workshops, then we can like put down those types of things to say, because socioeconomic, people live on its assumptions, and like you said, when you come from privilege, you just see the world black or white. You see the world. You see the world differently, and that might be why you might be like, you just do hair, as opposed to I might be like, wow, you got your own shop.
So
it's like, you
that's
know,
how
it's
people
just,
look at us when I say I'm an entrepreneur. They're like, you don't have a regular job.
yeah.
I'm a substitute and I have a business on the side. What's wrong with that?
No,
I
right,
can pay my bills. But people don't see
But
it
it's
that
a way also like, and it's just usually just ignorance. Like the lady, like if she didn't mean any harm, it's just ignorance. So you have to. We also have to teach our young people how to address that without sounding like the angry black female.
Like you gonna snap right away. I think our society has a lot to do with it now, just the way kind of America's born.
Right.
And if you feel the need to check
catch me
people,
outside.
I think sometimes, and this is, I think, really driven on race. We feel the need to really defend ourselves and defend our culture, and so that time it's more emotional. Like you just hurt me emotionally, and I gotta check you, boo, because that ain't cool. You can't do that, you know. And so sometimes it's like you said, learning how to navigate that. I can tell a person that something is inappropriate or isn't acceptable for me, or isn't culturally acceptable without checking them or going off or sounding like the angry black woman. So learning that balance and learning how to
And
do
hey,
that.
it's different type of checks.
I love checking a nice professional.
That
Check is the best.
that was a check to me. You know, it was a check to me, but it was a polite check. And
And it feels good when you did that with the math problem. That you checked them.
Polite
It's like
check.
eventually y'all ask me, I am you know, it's like, okay.
You know, it doesn't always have to be an aggressive reaction.
Like the way that
We have that so bad. And you know what? They don't know how people who, like you said, are automatically ready to be defensive, they do not know how to respond when you don't do that.
Exactly.
No,
You
it
know
catch
that.
them
It's
off
like
guard.
And you know what? That's what I want.
And when you're dealing with thoughts, they're like,
Yes.
You know, that's what I want. In a nice way.
And that's empowering for
Yes.
you. To learn how to do that early on without that stumbling. I was just talking to a coworker about that. Like, I wish that we can tell kids like things early on, like these experiences that we're having for a purpose partner to be able to meet with a mentee and teach them these things early on. That's going to build their confidence alone, because they're going to, oh, she told me about this. Okay, here we go. Here's that for that. Here's that for that. I know how to deal with this because somebody just prepped me and told me this is what I'm going to run into.
Well, I appreciate everybody talking. I don't want to run the time too late because it's about 1:35. So I appreciate everyone being here. If you guys want more information about workshops we had in 2019, there's some flyers up there. Please take some, give them to your kids, mentors, or mentees that you guys work with, young adults, anybody like that.
Have you checked to see if we can put that flyer in the schools?
Yeah.
Did they?
Well, I haven't went to the school yet because I just made them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the thing about the Kansas City Public School District is, one thing I don't like, you gotta go down to the board to get
Yes.
anything.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Oh,
it's
they
not.
won't let you email because there was an email contact.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, well, see, they
You
tell me I
might-
gotta call and go down to the office.
but this was a couple years ago, so.
Oh, yeah, cause we asked about a couple of things that we were doing, and everything is like, you gotta give board approval, and it takes, some time and all this stuff, so, for me, I'm like Facebook, Instagram,
Faster,
social media,
And also, if you send me a digital copy, I can put it on my newsletter.
Oh, yeah,
I
you
can,
said that.
I
Okay,
can
I'll
get
do
it. I can push it.
Yeah, so we'll be working on some workshops coming 2019. Our main thing is to bring in different speakers to kind of go over these topics. I would love to work with you in regards to curriculum and things like that we can kind of go over, what we're gonna go over each topic, things like that, each workshop. If you guys wanna volunteer, please feel free. We have a lot of positions open. Oh my God.